The recent Batman and Deadpool comic marks the 20th crossover between Marvel and DC Comics. It all started with Superman vs. the Amazing Spider-Man in 1976, that after a second encounter between Captain Underpants and the Webhead in July of 1981 would be followed up that same year's fall by a clash between the Dark Knight and the Green Goliath. Batman vs. the Incredible Hulk, in a list of 20 crossovers between Marvel and DC, is the story that intrigued me the most. Side note, I had no idea that Doctor Doom appeared in the second Marvel and DC crossover, so I'll be sure to make a video on that next week. Being that Batman is my second favorite comic book character behind Doctor Doom, of course, and that the Hulk is my second favorite green goober behind Shrek. Batman vs. the Hulk was written by Len Wein, co-creator of Wolverine and Swamp Thing. The story was penciled by Joe Luis Garcia Lopez of the DC's Comic Style Guide, in which Luis created the definitive look for almost all of the DC heroes we know till this day. Well, hello there, my fellow Doombots and Librarian citizens, and before we go any further with the topic of Batman vs. the Hulk, I must remind y'all to doomscribe. If you do not, Batman will beat you up for jaywalking, and the Hulk will smash you like he does in those PlayStation 2 games. So I really love the cover of this Batman vs. Hulk comic. First of all, you see the Hulk trying to smash Batman with some equipment, and you see the Joker getting away with what is going to be a Gamma Gun in the story. The villains of the story are the Joker and the Shaper of Worlds. More on that character later. We get a quick origin of Batman and the Hulk. We all know this, but it's pretty nice to put these two origins side by side. So here, right in center, you see the Shaper of Worlds, Batman taking on the Hulk, and the Joker laughing in the middle, with the title of the story being The Monster and the Madman. All over Gotham City, we have citizens getting their nightmares turned into reality, like this dude who is dreaming of a snowstorm wakes up with a snowstorm in his room. Here we get a couple in the cinema, and they're afraid of monsters, so their nightmare of monsters comes to reality. While this is all happening, we see the Joker talking to what will be the Shaper of Worlds in a warehouse in Gotham. One of Joker's goons seems to notice that Joker is afraid of the Shaper of Worlds, or at least nervous around him, and the Joker, of course, responds by poisoning this gangster with a rose, giving him the laugh of death before kicking him off a pier. Picking up in one of Bruce Wayne's Gamma Labs, we see Bruce Banner walking around with science equipment. Out of nowhere, all of his co-workers start to laugh themselves to death, and Bruce sees what's happening, so he immediately gets some protective gear and gets a helmet so that he doesn't get poisoned by Joker's laughing gas. Whilst protecting himself in the gear, we see that the Joker and his mob of goons walk in who are immune to the laughing gas. Bruce Banner tries to trigger the alarm, but right before that he gets tackled. Bruce Banner's helmet gets smashed, and of course Bruce turns into the Hulk, ready to smash Joker's goons. Just look at the Joker here. He's like, what the heck's going on? It turns out that the Joker does know who the Hulk is. By the way, this is just loose from any continuity. There's no explanation why Bruce Banner or the Hulk are in Gotham. It is just a what if story. What if the Hulk was in Gotham? But the Hulk, of course, proceeds to smash all of Joker's goons. Right as the Joker and his gang try to get away with the Gamma Gun, Batman shows up to beat some ass. Batman kicks the Gamma Gun out of the hands of Joker and his goons, and the Hulk somehow manages to catch it, and Joker uses his power of persuasion to get the Hulk on his side. Very easily, I must add. The only thing he has to do is point at Batman and tell him, look at this freak, he's a guy in a bad costume. Of course he's the bad guy. So the Hulk is easily manipulated by the Joker, and he starts attacking Batman, who easily bunny hops over him. I gotta say that this fight is a pretty interesting fight, because Batman, of course, cannot hurt the Hulk, and if the Hulk gets his hands on Batman, he will literally break him like a stick. Eventually, the Hulk does get his hands on Batman, and it really looks like Batman is gonna get his back broken like Bane did to him later in the Nightfall series. But right in time, Batman hits the Hulk on both his ears, discombobulating him, and getting free from his grasp. Right before the Hulk wants to smash Batman, throws a sleeping gas bomb, but the Hulk is too smart for this by holding his breath. But Batman still manages to kick the Hulk so hard in the solar plexus that he loses his breath and he still has to inhale the sleeping gas so that the Hulk falls asleep. The Hulk falls on the ground and the Joker and his gang still get away with the Gamma Gun. Somehow, some way, the Joker manages to get away. Later, Bruce Wayne shows up to find the Hulk laying in his office. It's pretty weird that Bruce Wayne and Batman are never in the same room. But here you get this really nice image of Bruce Banner and Bruce Wayne shaking hands, and their shadows are the Hulk and Batman. I thought that this was really well done. Now we get to the reason why the Joker stole the Gamma Gun. Actually, it was because the Shaper of Worlds started to lose his power, and he was hoping that by getting shot with the Gamma Gun, he would get more powerful. The Shaper of Worlds explains that he gets his powers from other people's dreams and making other people's dreams reality, and then he's been going through the universe stronger because he's losing his power. Essentially, he came to the conclusion that the Joker has the most unique mind of all in the universe. But sadly for Joker and the Shaper of Worlds, the Gamma Gun is not enough to cure the Shaper of his weakening power. I really like the fact that you can see that Joker is sweating and that he is really nervous around the Shaper of Worlds, because of course the Shaper of Worlds is an all-powerful being. The Shaper of Worlds is a character. It was actually a Skrull that infused itself with the power of the cosmic cube, and that's why it also looks like somewhat of a very weird, odd-looking Skrull type of vampire character. The story continues on one of Bruce Wayne's boats where he has built a gamma lab. We also see this moment where Bruce Banner gets really angry at a fellow scientist because he's afraid that the fellow scientist has damaged the Gamma Gun. And also one of the reasons why Bruce Wayne is working on the Gamma Gun is because he's trying to use it to get rid of his condition of turning into the Hulk. This is also pretty creepy, man. You see him slowly, almost losing control, the shades of green and gray coming through his skin. We get this really nice moment where Bruce Banner gets calmed down by Alfred Pennyworth with some good old-fashioned English tea. Batman starts doing some detective work, beating up some local gangs. He goes into a bar, and this is pretty funny because there's a homeless guy here asking for spare change, but it's actually just Batman in disguise. And just the fact that you got Bruce Wayne, a billionaire, probably in this day and age a trillionaire, asking low-life scum for change is pretty funny. Then Bruce Wayne's boat gets run over by the military, who demand to see Bruce Banner so that they can arrest him. The soldiers take Bruce Banner away, which is something that Bruce is already used to. This is something that happens in almost every single story, that the army's trying to arrest him. But when Alfred tries to stop them, one of the soldiers smacks Alfred on the ground. One of the soldiers corrects the one who slapped him and tells him this has to look like a proper military operation. And because Bruce Banner now finds out that it isn't really, they aren't real soldiers, but in fact they are fake soldiers, he gets really, really angry. Not because they just smacked Alfred Pennyworth. If they were real soldiers, he wouldn't have cared about it, I guess, this version. But when he finds out that they are fake soldiers, he immediately loses his temper and turns into the Hulk. So yeah, of course he beats the heck out of these fake soldiers. One of them tries to tase him, but yeah, of course that doesn't work. Like, yeah, come on, what do you think this is gonna do? This isn't even gonna tickle this dude. Then out of nowhere, this Clayface looking monster shows up, probably dreamed up by the Shaper of Worlds. And yeah, you got this fight between the Hulk, this big marshmallow man. The Hulk cannot seem to hurt this blob. The Hulk tries to punch him in the stomach, but then gets absorbed like Kirby does to his opponents in Smash Brothers. Alfred watches on as the Hulk is kidnapped by these soldiers. But the best part is Commissioner Gordon in this comic talking to General Ross and also Doc Samson, who only appear in this one comic panel, but it's also pretty fun to think that they are also in Gotham City. This big Clayface dude brings the Hulk to the Shaper of Worlds. But when the Joker mentions Bruce Banner, the Hulk loses his cool immediately, breaking free from the Blob, and he starts running at the Shaper of Worlds. For some reason, the energy that the Hulk emits, being a being of gamma radiation, they both come to a standstill, and I guess that the energy that the Hulk emanates is exactly what the Shaper of Worlds needs to become powerful again. He demands that the Joker bring the Hulk back to him because he just escaped. I also love the fact that the Joker's constantly sweating around the Shaper of Worlds. He's clearly very nervous around him. Then we get to a very odd part of the story where the Joker actually lit the bat signal so that he can make a deal with Batman so that they together can find the Hulk. I love the fact that after lighting the bat signal and the Batman showing up, the Joker literally escapes by throwing down a smoke bomb, going Batman for Batman. The best part has to be here where the Joker just disappears and reappears behind Batman, just to show this dude how it feels. And eventually they do make the deal, and together they are looking for Bruce Banner's Hulk in Gotham City. I love how the Joker's just looking in a garbage can to find the Hulk. Like, yeah, he's probably gonna be in here, Joker. Eventually, they find the Hulk beating up some low-life criminals, but the Hulk immediately jumps away. Batman follows him to a parking garage, and we get the second fight between the Hulk and Batman. Hulk immediately grabbing his leg, throwing him, but Batman doing a flip and landing, quite safely. The Hulk throws a car at Batman, but Batman jumps through the window, grabs his leg, but it looks like the Hulk just smacks Batman's ass and Batman falls on the ground. Batman throws another set of smoke pellets at the Hulk, which in turn makes the Hulk so discombobulated that he destroys the entire garage. Joker actually helps Batman get from underneath the rubble, which is pretty interesting to see. The last thing that Batman resorts to calm the Hulk down is by dressing himself to look like an old blind man. So this is also pretty funny that the Batman calms Bruce Banner down by pretending to be an old blind fella. I don't know why, but Batman just lets the Joker take the Hulk with him with no repercussions, thinking that it will have no repercussions if the Joker somehow manipulates the Hulk. In the final chapter, the Joker takes Hulk to the Shaper of Worlds. When they get close to the Shaper of Worlds, the Rhino, Abomination, and the Leader appear, 3 of the Hulk's rogues, and Two-Face, Killer Moth, and Scarecrow. And I love this part of the comic where you have the Hulk and Batman fighting their classic rogues, especially seeing the Rhino towering over Batman and Scarecrow grabbing the Hulk. I think it looks pretty good. They fight their own imagination, things that were created by the Shaper of Worlds, so they're not really real. I love also this image where you see Batman punching Two-Face's head apart. You get the Hulk smashing the Abomination that turns into a bunch of, I think it's geckos? And Killer Moth gets hit head first by the Rhino, who also both just exploded into a bunch of butterflies. Eventually they get to the Shaper of Worlds, and then the Shaper of Worlds takes all of the Hulk's gamma radiation and gives Joker the power to become the king of the world, or as most people would know it, Emperor Joker. Joker flies away on his magic carpet. Bruce Banner tries to bargain with the Shaper of Worlds to take away the powers of the Joker. The Shaper of Worlds just doesn't really care. He got what he came here for. I love this scene between the Joker and Batman. Joker has turned the entirety of Gotham into a circus. Batman tries to confront him, but gets turned into a fat jester. His bat robe turns into a bunch of sausages and he falls onto the ground. It looks so goofy. It reminds me a lot of that side mission in Arkham City where you confront the Mad Hatter. The Hulk also tries to confront the Joker by punching him in the face, but the Joker turns his hands into gigantic pillows. Here you get this great image where Batman tells Joker, "I'm disappointed in you, Joker," basically telling him that he's not creative enough and that everything he's doing is just very basic. You see the Joker turning Gotham City into Alice in Wonderland. I love these little outfits where Batman and the Hulk look like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, I think. What Batman's basically trying to do is he's telling Joker that he's disappointed in him and saying that he thought he would be more of an artist. So basically pushing the mental capacities of the Joker. Eventually, he gets more and more abstract. It gets more and more complicated, eventually straining the imagination of the Joker. The Joker tires his own mind out, which leads to the Joker being exhausted and for Batman to be able to knock him out. The Shape of Rules just leaves the planet behind because he got what he needed. So the comic ends with the Joker thinking that he's still in his perfect Joker world. But he's actually just in his cell in Arkham Asylum. We see Batman and Commissioner Gordon talking about Bruce Banner, who is, of course, sadly walking away into the distance. Overall, I thought this was a pretty interesting story. My favorite part still has to be when Batman and the Hall confronted all of their rogues. I like that. Also, the part where Joker became God Emperor Joker was pretty good. So yeah, overall, this was a pretty fun crossover. Let me know if there's any other crossovers you would like me to talk about. That's for me. Do it out. Have yourself a happy Doomsday.